After receiving help from Mr. Kim, my SAT score improved from a 1200 on my first practice test to eventually a 1500 on my final SAT. And I was accepted to the University of California in Irvine, the University of Georgia, the Honors College, Georgia Tech, the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and Michigan. And then I was waitlisted from UC Berkeley. I'm an only child, so I was completely lost, but Mr. Kim really helped me throughout the whole process. It's very daunting, very hard, especially because you're going through your senior year, and personally I took all AP classes because it was honestly stressful. It's honestly a really stressful time in your life, but having Mr. Kim there to help me through everything was what kept me sane throughout my senior year, honestly. I'll start preparing for the SAT because it's a long process. No matter how early you start, the earlier you start, the better. So I think keep everything in mind, it should be good. Hi, my name is Amanda and I have just recently graduated from Peachtree Ridge High School, where my GPA was a 4.0 unweighted and a 4.25 weighted. I started prepping for the SAT mainly because I always knew that I wanted to go to a top 20 college. That was always a goal that I had for myself, even in middle school. So I knew that I would have to start prepping around before my junior year. I chose DK Student Success because I had heard really good things from some family friends and just people in our community, and so I decided to with me and a few of my close friends meet with Mr. Kim, and I could really feel that he was genuine about teaching and wanting his students to succeed. So that's why me and my friends decided with DK Student Success. After receiving help from Mr. Kim, my SAT score improved from a 1200 on my first practice test to eventually a 1500 on my final SAT. My weakest section was math. And DK Student Success really helped me improve in math just by teaching me honestly from the basics and being very patient with me. After getting the basics down, how to factor a equation and things like that, they really helped me with the formulas that you need to know, because once I memorized all those formulas that are needed on the SAT, I was able to really go into the concepts and 28 different math ideas and really improve in math that way. Even just the formulas helped me, and Mr. Kim was very, very patient and helped me guided me through everything, worked every question out with me, and I always got a lot of help in practice. I was never afraid to ask a question. So that's some of the ways that DK Student Success helped me improve in my math section. And then reading. So I was always a pretty strong reader. I don't think I missed that many reading questions on my first practice SAT, but I was around still 7 or 8 questions missed. But through analyzing the types of passages that I was struggling in, for me personally, history and paired passages were really hard. But just by helping me analyze them, figuring out, oh, my weak spot is these types of passages, and then what types of questions am I constantly missing on all these different practice tests? Is it reasonable inferences, supporting evidence, or literal comprehension? Learning that and then really being able to learn about those concepts and correct myself, that was something that really helped me, and I eventually ended up getting only 2 wrong on my last SAT. And then writing. I think writing was the easiest one for me to perfect because I was also not bad at the writing section when I first started, but I think I went from around like 5 or 6 questions to getting 1 wrong on one of my SATs. And the way that Mr. Kim helped me with that was just learning the rules. Like once you get the rules and the concepts, you can get a perfect score on writing. I know plenty of friends like that came here, and once we all learned the rules, like perfect scores. I think any student will be able to get like a good writing score regardless of like reading comprehension, but just as long as you remember all those rules, you should be good with writing. So initially in math, I think I missed around like 25 questions, like it was definitely in the 20s. But then on my final SAT, I only missed 5 questions on like the math section overall. So obviously like that's very good. I think my first math score was a 550, but I improved to a 740. So almost a 200-point increase, and that was just from like formulas and practicing. And then reading and writing. So like I said, like I was like proficient at the reading and writing sections, but DK Student Success still helped me reach like near perfection from like a good standing point just by like making a record sheet, which is where we did that analysis of passages and question types. So we would write down the time that it took to read the passage, and then how much I understood it through my first read through and then my second read through, and what type of passage this is, how many questions did I miss, and analyzing all of that and being able to see the trends like throughout all the different practice tests is what really helped me just know my weak points. And then to work on those weak points, we would do corrections, which is my top thing. I think corrections is what helped me the most for across the board all sections. This is where we would go and analyze the actual questions that we got wrong. Like what type of question is this? What are the key words? What is the answer that I chose, and why is this wrong? Like thoroughly being to explain myself, like being able to explain why I missed this question, like, and why this is wrong, and now I can see this is wrong, and then explain the correct answer, this is the correct answer, and this is why it's correct, really helped me be able to like reason with myself on future tests, like, oh, like this is like a mistake that I should be looking out for, and understanding that and analyzing that, like it was very tailored to me and what I was missing, which is what really helped. And we did that across the board, like for reading, writing, and math, so that's what helped me improve on every section. And yeah, and then the analysis of topics I was missing, that's what really helped me too. So currently I am committed to attending the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, which was one of my top schools like from the get-go, because I always really wanted to study business, and Michigan, the Ross School of Business, is very, very good for business undergrad. It's in the top 5, and then specifically for what I wanted to study, which is marketing, it's number 1. So yeah, my major is undecided right now, but I am very, like, my options are open. I am in a program to help me transfer into the business school. I have an acceptance to the education school if I want to go that route, and I'm in the biggest college, which is LSA, which has like over 120 majors, so I have a lot of options. And I was accepted to the University of California in Irvine, the University of Georgia, the Honors College, Georgia Tech, the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and Michigan. And then I was waitlisted from UC Berkeley. DK Student Success really helped me with this process because I was lost at first. Like, I did not know what to do because I'm a first-gen American, and I don't have any siblings. I know some of my friends had older siblings that kind of helped them through the process. I didn't. I'm an only child. So I was completely lost, but Mr. Kim really helped me like throughout the whole process. It's very daunting, very hard, especially because like you're going through your senior year, and personally I took like all AP classes, but he helped me even with like the brainstorming and like setting up a Common App account, and like what prompt would be the best, like what essay topics do you want to write about, because honestly you can write your personal statement about anything. Like I've seen like so many different stories and so many different ideas, but he really helped me like brainstorm and narrow it down, and like, you know, gave his opinions on like what would be the best. And he also helped me like with pacing myself, like, oh hey, like you should get started on this supplemental, or like finish up on your Common App, like tweak this, and just editing everything and like helping me while still giving me the freedom to really like write about what I wanted to write about. But you know, obviously telling me like when he thought like there was a better idea out there. I think like that just helped like with everything, because it was honestly stressful. It's honestly like a really stressful time in your life, but having Mr. Kim there to help me through everything was what kept me sane throughout my senior year, honestly. So yeah, like just he helped with the whole application and essay process, even until like submission. So that was very, very helpful. Some of my extracurriculars throughout high school, I was involved in a lot of different clubs, a lot of different officer positions. Some of my main ones were student council. I held 2 positions. I planned prom as a committee chair, and I was also vice president. And then another one was chorus. I never joined, I didn't join chorus because I really wanted to put it in my college application. I really just enjoyed singing, but I ended up, because I really enjoyed it, like getting so many positions. Like I was section leader all 4 years, and I was president my senior year, and you know, that really shaped me, and I ended up writing about chorus the most throughout my college application process, which was very helpful. And I was also an officer in FBLA, Amnesty International, Korean Club. I was in like a club where we went to the local middle school and helped ESOL students, just like a lot of things like that. And I volunteered at daycares, I worked here, and I was involved in everything. Some of my SAT studying tips, I think for reading would mainly to be like keeping time management in mind. You should be sticking to around like 13 minutes per passage, but so around 3 reading and 10 answering questions. But I see a lot of students that are so obsessed with getting everything down on their first read through and memorizing all the details. But I think the main thing within that first 3-minute read through should be getting the main ideas, because honestly, throughout the questions itself, you're gonna have to go back and get the details anyways, and they're gonna pinpoint where you should be looking for these specific details. So there's no point in stressing yourself out and wasting time by memorizing the whole passage. You just need to get the main ideas. What is the main point? The author is trying to convey this, or this was the main thing about this research project. What is the author's opinion? Those are the main things that you should be looking for, and then keeping time management in mind. And then getting easy questions out of the way first, like vocabulary and context questions, because you don't need context for that. You just need to read the sentence and know the vocab. And then for writing, would honestly be to just memorize the rules, because once the rules are memorized, you're set, you're good. There's nothing else you really need to do besides memorizing these rules, the types of transitions, and when to use a colon versus a semicolon, and comma splices and non-essential clauses. Once you learn things like that, the writing section is very easy. I think any student can get a perfect score. And then for math, I would say just memorize the formulas. Just memorizing the formulas itself is what helped me a lot. And then keeping up with corrections for across the board is something that I would recommend. But yeah, just keeping that in mind, and really just working hard. As long as you work hard consistently, you're getting enough practice through that practice test, and then you're analyzing your mistakes through every practice test, there's nothing you can do besides improve your score. And then for college applications, my main advice would be to write about what's passionate, what you're passionate about. Don't worry about, oh, this college specifically wants to see this. Obviously that's good to keep in mind and incorporate if you can, but I've found that as long as you write about what you're really passionate about, you'll find a school that's right for you, and everything will work out. I think don't be too stressed on topics, because every topic can be a good one as long as you develop it correctly. And then also pacing is a really important one. If I could go back, I would have paced myself a little bit better. just like drafted a little bit earlier and like made more drafts and throwing more ideas out there. I think I was very obsessed with like just getting these supplementals done on time and like, you know, sticking with this idea because I think this would be good. I think it's not a bad idea to like write as many drafts as you want and then like just keep time in mind, but you don't have to be too stressed about it. And you know, just I would also say to apply with what you think would get you in, because if you want to apply to be like an engineering major at Georgia Tech, you have never done an engineering based extracurricular in your life, you've only done business, then apply for business. You can always transfer. Like, I think so many college applicants have that stigma about like not switching majors, but I think it's honestly a very good idea if it comes down to it, because I ended up applying to Michigan as an education major and I got in, and now like as a student that has gotten in, I've found so many resources to be able to transfer to the major that I want to be, and it's never a bad idea. Just I would rather say get in than not have the opportunity to transfer. For underclassmen, my advice would be just to get involved in as many extracurriculars as you want, because like you can always drop extracurriculars if you're not interested in them, but it is kind of hard to like get involved and like get officer positions like if you're joining as like a junior or a senior, you know, and you always like just want to explore as many as you can. And then another thing would just be to like join all the extracurriculars like based on what you know you want to do, or as like what you want to apply as, because it's like kind of similar as the advice I just gave for college applicants, but you don't need to know what you want to do at age 18. That's very unrealistic, but as long as you know what you want to apply as once you get there, you can form your application, and like your high school experiences will be able to like guide you. Like as long as you get involved in what you want to apply as, it should be good. You can always transfer. And yeah, just like getting involved and making sure like to keep your future in mind, start preparing for the SAT, because it's a long process. No matter how early you start, the earlier you start, the better. So I think keep everything in mind, like it should be good. And so I wish you all the best of luck, and bye.